Pretty writing heavy today. Okay, we're about to get into it. I'm me, as you already know, all that fancy stuff. All right. So today we're focusing more on personal growth, but through poetry. And we're going to use self-discovery to bring ourselves closer to our goals. ITF Taekwondo. I'm a second degree black belt. I went from ABEC, Animal Behavior Ecology and Conservation, minor in philosophy. I went to get a master's in mental health counseling right after. What else did I do? I played football once. They didn't pick me up in basketball though. I wasn't all too obedient at the time. 7 interesting things about yourself. A book, Wisdom 45 Advice. The most dangerous and threatening person in the world is yourself. And it's highlighting the self-sabotage we have for ourselves at times. It's sometimes bigger than the world around us, sometimes bigger than what we perceive to be our enemies in the world, our unhelpful friends, unsupportive family members, haters if you have them. Sometimes it's ourselves. Written in high school. I think it was like junior year, I might have had it. And we talked about what we wanted to achieve, our goals. Where do we see ourselves in years, and so on and so forth. And a goal of mine went like this: a part of my mission is to become the greatest role model, someone your children would follow, an example any adult can admire. People deep in the holes will see greater heights. People deep in the holes will find footing to climb out. People will gain a vision to handle the grooves to reach their way out. Everyone has their hole. Everyone has their climb. I want to become a positive influence. I feel my purpose is to create a moral society, to do great things for my family and the people surrounding me, to have other people follow in similar footsteps, pave a way for future generations. Hope the cycle continues of great legacy continues. I want to be remembered for positive change itself. I want to be remembered for success. I want to be remembered for self-productivity. I want to be remembered for progress. A goal of mine. I had this poem to display my thoughts as like a 16, 17-year-old Dorian. And it was simply to touch on a lot of the ambitions I had when I was younger. To an extent, some of the things came true. But right now, I want you to make a goal of yours. What is that thing you want to achieve? You're cooking up.
Yeah. So it's not so specific, but I want to make a significant difference in human trafficking advocacy.
And how do you think, or what are you doing now to make that happen?
Well, currently with Now She Speaks, we provide training, education, and public speaking related to domestic violence and human trafficking. So right now, it's really just sharing information, providing education, and spreading awareness.
Jessica, I noticed you came in. You don't have to if you don't want to, but the floor is open. We were talking about the poem A Goal of Mine.
Okay. So what I wanted to do is create a mental health program dedicated and targeted specifically towards young African American men. Within that mental health program, I want to address comprehension barriers that I have personally feel, although I have not done the study yet, but personally feel has impacted growth and development academically. As we all know, academia can be the pipeline for many things, including success or juvenile detention centers in most cases. Either or can go both ways for young African American men. And we know now that success rates in school help prevent the juvenile detention center flow of things. What I'm doing now to do that, because I want it to be more of a co-op, I have started participating in a core fellowship program that will hopefully start funding with grant and or loan programs to assist building and developing that, as well as building a team.
All right, what is your goal? what do you want to do for the world?
Okay, so the breakup kit originally started me talking about like relationships and just really having the strength to like leave them. But then I realized it was a bit bigger when I could not like roll out this online program I was trying to create. And then it led me back to more of like the childhood and breaking up with like a lot of negative habits that limit you in a lot of different areas of your life, whether it be romantic relationships, whether it be personal goals, things that we were missing from our childhood, and just really sharing my story and then some things that I was able to overcome, including parenting and just sharing my story, sharing some steps that I was able to, overcome some barriers, but just doing it on a mass platform. Like, so I'm used to like talking about it with friends. I'm used to encouraging them personal one-on-one, but turn into like a business or a book or a conference and online programs. There's a little bit of fear still there, but I've made like small impact, but not like a larger impact. That's something that I'm currently working on, just getting over the fear of it.
I see. Maybe we can address that a little bit. All right. A goal of yours, either one of you came in the room.
To utilize my book as a platform, Embracing Erica on my journey from fear to faith, to make a huge impact on just as many lives as possible, creating value in their lives, utilizing my book as a positive tool to help them to utilize that as a positive tool for the roadmap to get them out of the darkness into the light so that they can become their best, truest version of who God created them to be. And in that process, create unity in our communities.
Love it. Awesome. You guys all got good stuff. You guys have all good stuff. All right, my rapper friend. What's going on? A goal of yours. What do you got?
That goal of mine is just to increase my limited understanding and help others do the same. I want to help people, I guess, live happier, healthier lives, because that's what I want to do. So,
Yeah.
Whether that's like through faith and finances, like, financial understanding and entrepreneurship. But I have to be, I'll have to increase my business acumen and my abilities and my network so I could help others do the same.
I love it. Yeah, I was, again, when I made this poem, I was in high school and I had the idea of making a book not until shortly after high school. And I met with a mentor. He had told me different approaches to things. Like we talked about cologne. I used to really be into that. Or we talked about different business ventures. I didn't really have a solid foundation for them. I was kind of throwing some stuff in the air, and I was like, oh, I'll be a veterinarian when I get out and all that stuff. I'm doing mental health now, so things kind of take you in a different direction. When I was on my way home, I was like, I could make a book idea. My passion is to simply, I think we're all on the same page. We want to help people. The purpose was to kind of alleviate a lot of the troubles I saw around me. Like that was kind of my focus. And what I was good at, these three things, what I was good at was poetry. So at the time I was like, you know what, I could put some more stuff in. Eventually I continued to add more on to what I already had. It became a bit of a hobby. And later I found a person who helped me achieve the goal of creating a book based off of the work that I had. And since then I've been getting busy at it. I don't think a lot of people have like life plans per se that at 30 or 45 or 50, this absolutely will happen. At least the idea is there and you're working towards it. And as far as high as you may want to reach, the point is to be in the ballpark. So you can kind of get a gauge of what I've written this age. Would it not make sense at a young age? Does now. At 10, I realized I didn't need a lot of friends. At 12, I realized my temporary experience is shared by many. At 14, I noticed the importance of a functional two-parent home. At 15, education became much more important. At 16, the ball started rolling down the lane of achievements. At 17, I noticed life is not so pretty. At 18, it became much harder to deal with congratulations. At 19, more effort meant alienation from life. At 20, questions were greater than before. At 21, there's a lot of introspective work. At 22, I had a head start and a good start. Anger is a nuisance by 23. I want it to be prevented. By 25, jealousy won't be a bump in the road. By 30, I should be living well off of my gifts. By 40, I hope to have everything I wanted. By 50, maybe my name is on track for legacy. At 60, my desire might fade. At 70, I hope the youth learn from me. By 80, I hope to reach my heaven here first. By 90, I want to reach my century. So I want you to kind of think a little bit. You can start from 10, you can start from 15, you can start from 20, you can start from 23, you can start from 30. But at what age have you learned certain like life-changing concepts, these kind of newfound perspectives? At what age have you kind of developed a new mind, a new way of approaching problems, life, and everything else? And taking the age you are now, address that. But just above that, for me, it would be like 30. It's there. What would that look like for you? What do you want to reach by that age? What do you want to have by that age? What do you want to resolve within yourself by that age? And hopefully conquer and go up to as far as you think you'll live. As much time as you need. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we got donuts and apple cider there. I think there's like a dozen. If there's not enough, fight for it. You know, get a little, yeah, just go crazy. A person with purpose. I mean, you only live once. You only live. I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't have any water. I'm sorry, but yeah. Do we have someone? Okay. Write a poem about age. If you guys in Zoom are already done and you just want to spit out some bars, by all means. On a bit of a humorous note, apple cider is a laxative, but it's seasonal, so I thought it was good. It's got some elements in there, so you clear yourself out. All right, so for folks that just came in, we just talked about a goal of mine. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to set your name in stone for? Like, what is that thing that you'll be remembered for? And I have this because a lot of younger folks don't have a strong life plan. Like, what is that thing they want to achieve by a certain age? What are the goals they want to have accomplished? And I want to reiterate the idea is not to have like these grandiose ideas and think that they're not achievable. I want to say that they very much are. But even if we don't reach them, we're in the ballpark. We're close enough when we work towards them. But how can we achieve everything if we don't have it in mind to have it set to do, to have accomplished later on? Age. Okay, somebody's done. I know somebody's done. Zoom folks, somebody is done. I don't know who. I know I can count on Megan to do it.
Why you gotta call me out?
I just felt like it.
Do you want me to read the whole thing or just a little bit?
To hear the whole thing.
Okay. So at 5, I knew what it meant to be in danger. At 10, I learned what living in extreme poverty meant. At 12, I recognized racism and racially motivated violence. At 14, I became aware of what classified as abuse. At 16, I didn't think I'd live to graduate high school. At 18, I realized my past does not define my identity and future. At 21, I understood how selfish communities can be during times of trial. At 22, I felt confident in my own capability to create a life I loved. At 24, I accomplished several life goals. At 26, I recognized my own identity. And that's as far as I've gotten.
At 26, that's when you're checking out.
That's as far as I've gotten.
I'm joking. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Session2.
Okay, I think because I got a call and I had to take a call that it maybe disconnected my thing because I was like, I'm ready. Okay, did we have to put our age next to it?
If you're feeling a little shy about how old you are, you don't have to say anything.
Listen, did we have to put our age next to each milestone? Or was it like, can I do it in like a poetic form.
It is uniquely you. Do it however you want.
Trickling feet, maybe reading things and articulation not being too well. Developing into a sense of shame, yet understanding. Shame leading to a sense of shyness. Shyness that led to a sense of need and urgency. My urgency turned into confidence, turned into development, turned into self-fulfillment. At times where I felt in my teenage years, I would not accomplish goals. I would not do the things I had in mind. I somehow became the embodiment of what I thought I could be. This altered the direction of my life. This altered the direction of things that I thought were going to be impossible. At feats that most would have thought I would have given up, in trials that I would have fell from, I continued to move and accelerate past all. Younger me would be, if I may say, as they do modernly, be gagged at who I am today. And I'm thankful for every step of the way.
Snap, 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 snap.
When I was 1 to 5, I wanted to be held, to feel hands that said you're safe here. At 5 to 10, I wanted walls that didn't shake and voices that didn't break. From 10 to 15, I wanted love, the kind that didn't come with conditions. By 15 to 20, I wanted to dream. I thought if I could dream loud enough, I might wake up somewhere beautiful. From 20 to 25, I wanted to be rich, not just in money. From 25 to 30, I wanted marriage, a promise that love grow roots, not just bloom and disappear. From 30 to 35, I wanted stability, a place that didn't move when I excelled, a peace that didn't ask for performance. From 35 to 40, I wanted health, to feel alive in my own body again. And from 40 to 45, I just wanted to live long enough to see my voice become men.
Love it. Would you like to expound on some of those age ranges?
I realize as you grow, your prayers become different. The older you get, the more you realize death is imminent and you can't control it. You start to, your peace becomes very important. You stop worrying about seeing the things that hurt other people's feelings. You become more concerned about like not hurting your own feelings. And definitely wanting to live long enough to see like what your children are going to become or your loved ones. I think you become more appreciative of something you took for granted. When you're young, you feel like you got forever. It's like death can't touch you. But like when you get older, you're just like, ooh, you don't know if it's coming tomorrow or next year. So you become more like grateful, more gratitude, more peaceful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Make amends.
Yeah, you do.
It don't make no sense. I was
No,
just
it
writing.
always makes sense. Do it.
I enrolled with it. I said, I desire my career to come to life. By my mid-20s, I want to be stable and successful. Going to school and completing my goal to be an eye doctor. At 15, I didn't want to continue my life because, schooling, because I feel like I couldn't accomplish my goals if I didn't have a support around me, because I lost somebody that was close to me, and I just didn't feel like I could achieve my goals anymore. And then now at my age now, I realized that I just need myself to be okay and people to come along.
That's when you're checking out? Okay. Yeah. Forward thinking. Very good. I love it. You got some good stuff in there. A lot of emotional stuff. That's we grow from it. You writing a dissertation? Right. All right. Anybody else? What you got?
I'll go.
All right. Yep.
At 8, I realized everyone isn't your friend. At 10, I knew I needed me the most. At 12, I knew my beliefs were worth fighting for. At 13, my trust for others had faded. At 15, I trusted God when He told me I was created to make it. At 18, I resorted to getting faded. At 20, I realized that my heart was meant to break. At 21, I lost myself, but then focused on what matters. At 23, I realized I can't quit and I must keep showing up. At 25, I know I was caught in a cycle of lust that I convinced myself was the pursuit of love. At 26, I knew that at 26, I now know that I must be a fountain and not a drain. At 30, I'm just entering my prime. My spirit strengthens my mind.
Would you like to expound on some of those age ranges?
I don't know. I guess I'll start at 8. I mean, my mom would always tell me like, everybody's not your friend, and I didn't really like get it until I was like in situations where it was like, I had to answer for like what other people did. And they didn't like care about me the same way I cared about them. And that goes into 10. Well, I moved out of the country, so I was like in another country with just my family basically, and like that like taught me a lot of things. And then I knew like my beliefs were worth fighting for, so I kind of had to stand up for myself and stand up for what I believed in by myself. And then at 15, that's when I started like really trying to read the Bible and stuff. And I think I got baptized at 16. Yeah, I think that's like at 21, I focused on like what matters because I lost myself. My grandma had passed away, my nana had passed away, and I was like in the house, like it was COVID that year, so I just had to refocus on like what really mattered. If everything went away, which it did, so like it was just me and my thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'm 26 now, so I don't want to. I need to like give more than I take.
I dig it. I dig it. Anybody else?
All right, I'll read what I got.
You said 120. You meant it.
I only got the 30.
Okay.
All right, at 5, I realized that people like to point out differences. At 10, I realized that my family is no different than others. We all want to be happy and loved. At 15, I realized that life can change at the drop of a hat. My life forever changed. Being hit by a drunken driver, not being able to walk. At 20, I realized what love is and that when it is real, you know it. You know it. Your first love is powerful, and most, if blessed to fall in love, you love hard. At 25, I was a wife, mother, and homemaker, living my best life. At 30, I was divorced, lost, trying to find my way again. At 35, I was living in fear, trying to survive.
Would you like to expound on any of those things? You don't have to if you don't want to, but
Just understanding that every moment that when you wake up being above ground, we should be grateful. Gratitude. Just be grateful because in the drop of a hat, things can change from moment to moment. We never know. We're not promised tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen. So while I'm here from, I'm just going to say 1968, I want to make that dash to 120, the best version of me that I can possibly be, making a huge impact on as many lives as I can, serving and doing everything possible to create, to just walk and be the instrument that God utilizes to do his work here in this earth.
love it. Love it. Anybody else? In here or on Zoom? She's too busy eating.
Basically, I didn't write anything down. Basically, you learn every day. Every day is an opportunity to learn. You see different things that go on in life, and we take a lot for granted. And I think at this point in my life, I was gonna cry.
It's healing. Let it rip. Let it rip.
That you can't take your happiness for granted. You can't take your family for granted. Because through everything that I've been through in my life, which is a lot, you just have to learn that there's more than just you when you have a family. And you give them everything from the time they're born, and to hate to see any of you lose a loved one. It's just that everything that you go through in life, You learn by it. My mother used to always say, yeah, that I had a hard head. I had to go through something to learn something. And I kind of stood with that. Like, I know, kind of like I had to, I went through it. I made myself go through it unnecessarily. And, now it's like I don't have to go through something to learn something. I'm learning day by day. You know, you try to better yourself in the best way you possibly can. And we make mistakes, you get up, you brush yourself off, and you keep moving.
Going through an emotional process, some of us, it's lovely. And that's kind of the point of this, in addition to, like, kind of going back to those times when we learned something, but what comes with that is some hardship too, unfortunately. But that's how we grow. And we'll do one last thing and then we're out of here.
I
Okay.
guess I'll just make a statement.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed listening to everyone's poems and like everyone's courage to be vulnerable. I think that it's really magnificent, and I think it's I think it's important to take note that like you've created a safe environment in this session where we have so many people who have shared vulnerable details related to themselves. So I've really enjoyed hearing everyone's poems and, the honesty that is in the room.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And thank you for everyone sharing. But thank you for your comment too. Last one, we're going to address uncertainty. I like this one. It's from Conversations You Need. It's something so simple as, fighting the food choice at a restaurant. We've all been there. Something that we may or may not like is on the item, food list, and we're like, I don't know. I spend money on it. I mean, I have a few dollars to spare, but it may be something I like. And I made this more to address the uncertainty when it comes to making hard choices in life. We want to stick to the same thing because we know it's safe. But we don't know what we're missing. You don't know what's on the other side of trying something that you haven't tried before. Attempting to be involved with something new. Learn something new. All right. We are done. And
Share my crab leg experience because I just